In this video, I'm going to show you how to set up your alarm system so you never have to touch it again, coming up next. Hi, I'm Justin from Simply Smart, where we make smart home technology as easy as 1, 2, 3. I even have the steps to building the ultimate smart home right on my shirt, and they're also in the video description below. If you're interested in smart home content, consider subscribing for more videos like this. Today we are going to be turning our professionally monitored alarm system, and we're going to get that connected to SmartThings and be able to control it using our voice with Alexa. So we're going to head up to the computer and get all of that set up so we can integrate that with our current alarm system. And this is a basic alarm system that's professionally monitored. It's not necessarily like a smart alarm system. It's just one that I got, 5 years ago or so, and I wanted to be able to control it using SmartThings, set up automations, and basically never have to touch it again. Okay, so we are at our computer, and the first thing you want to do is log into your Total Connect account. So just go to your Total Connect web page here, put in your username and password, and click sign in. And the reason this works is because the Total Connect account is cloud-based and SmartThings is cloud-based, so it can connect to your Total Connect account through the cloud and be able to arm and disarm your alarm, given we put in the proper information. So it's recommended that you create your own profile to be used with your SmartThings. So I have already set up an account specifically that I want to use for my SmartThings integration, and basically all you need to do is make sure it has you have to have a first name, a last name, make sure that the user type is admin, make sure that you know your username and you know your password. You're just going to have to put in an email because that's required, and you are going to also have to put in a user code because that's required, but you don't need to worry about syncing it or anything like that. To set up a new user, you just have to log in with an admin account and go to users, click add new user, make sure it's the admin user, put in all this information, but we're not going to do that in this video just because I've already got that completed. It's basically just follow the steps and click continue until you're done. So once you have your new user set up and you know your username and password, what you're going to want to do is come over to your SmartThings IDE, and you're going to come up to this page, and I'm going to put all the links that you need in the video description, including the Total Connect account, SmartThings account, and then the custom device handlers that we're going to go over next. So once you get to your SmartThings IDE page, you just want to click on the login at the bottom, and then you're going to want to log in with your Samsung account if you have one, or your SmartThings account. By now you should be using a Samsung's account. Alright, once you're logged in, you're going to want to go up to My Locations, and you're going to want to choose your location where you want to set up your alarm. So I'm just going to choose home. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to install a smart app. Okay, so this is the smart app here, and it's made by this person here, and it's the Total Connect Sync smart app. And the easiest way to copy this, you're going to have to copy all of this code, is just click on Raw, and on your keyboard click Control A for basically select all, and then hit Control C and go back to your SmartThings, and we're in the Smart Apps section. You just want to go over to click a plus sign over on the right hand corner here, New Smart App, and we're going to do From Code, and then we're going to hit Control V on the keyboard to paste in all of that code. So we have all of our code here, and we're just going to hit Create. And you can see that we have created it, and just click Save just to be sure We have it. And now we are going to install one more thing, and that is a device handler. So we're going to click on My Device Handlers, and we're going to go to the upper right hand corner where it says Create New Device Handler. Hit the plus sign. We're going to go From Code again, and we're going to go ahead and grab all of this code. So you can also, if you don't want to click on the raw and do all that, you can just start highlighting at the top here and just go all the way to the bottom. You see someone put a lot of work into putting all this code together for us. And just make sure you end right here at the very bottom, and then you can right click copy, go back to SmartThings, from code, paste it, click create, and hit save. And we're also going to want to publish this one, so we're going to hit publish for me, and you can see that's successfully published here. Okay, so now we have the two things installed on our SmartThings. So now we need to get some special numbers to be able to connect to our alarm system. So if we go back to the Smart Apps, just click on the name here. And what we're going to want to do is a simulation. So over here, you're going to choose the home or the location where you're going to, install it. Click Set Location, and then you're going to want to put in your username and password that you used on your Total Connect account. Okay, and then once you have your username and password entered, you just want to click Install. Under the Log section, you have some information. So this is your important information. And I'm actually going to show you my numbers because of my alarm system is being disconnected in a few days, so I don't mind showing you the full numbers. And you can see right down here at the end it says typically only use the last 6 numbers. For some reason for me it worked with the first 6 numbers. So if it doesn't work with the last 6 numbers, try the first 6 numbers. And now we're going to go to My Devices. And it doesn't matter, we don't need to save this. We're going to just go ahead and leave that. Alright. So in My Devices, what we're going to go do is come up to the upper right hand corner and click New Device. And we're just going to have to put a name in here. So you could name this Alarm. But I would not recommend that. You're going to want to name it something that not everyone would just know offhand. So I'm going to name mine Thor. And you got to have a network ID. Now right down here in the type area, this is where you're going to choose our Total Connect device async. And that is when we installed the device handler in the previous step. So we're going to do that. Choose your home location. Home hub is fine here. And group's not available to choose from. So we want to make sure we have everything completed here. You can name yours whatever you want, and you can always change it later too. It's just easier to get it set up the way you want it. So we're going to go ahead and create here. Alright, and now you can see that our Thor device has been created. Next step is to come down in the Preference section and click on Edit. So what it's going to do is it's trying to fill in our passwords and stuff. So what we're going to do is we're going to put in our Total Connect password and username. So this is SMART123 and our password. And then the device ID has already come in. So I'm in Myrtle Beach. I put the Myrtle Beach there. and I'm going to use the first 6 numbers. If it doesn't work with the first 6, try the last 6. And on here we just got to delete the Myrtle Beach part, and that is 6 numbers as well. It automatically filled in our 14588, and it automatically filled in our application version. So all we have to do is hit save here, and now you can see that everything is completed here. So now we basically have most of the computer portion done. So what we will do is go down to the alarm and show you how it works on the phone. Then we'll get it set up with Alexa and be able to control it using our voice. Okay, so now that we have everything done on the computer, we can come down back to our alarm panel and see how it works using our phone. So I'm going to open up the SmartThings app, and you can see that we have Thor on the phone, and it shows up as unknown. If we go into Thor, you can see that it says unknown still with a kind of like a telephone, and it's orange. All you need to do is hit the refresh button. You can see it looks like an alarm. It has arm away, arm stay, and disarm. So you just have to hit that refresh button, and once you do, it changes to disarmed, and you're ready to start using it. Okay, so when you're in the app, if you hit, say, arm stay, and in a second here, it will start arming the alarm. There is a little bit of a delay.
Arm stay, exit now.
All right, and then it's arm staying. So we can also hit the disarm.
Disarmed.
There you go. There's always a little bit of a delay, but it does always work. So now that you can control it right in SmartThings, you can also set up all of the automations. Let's go into goodbye. Well, what I'm going to do is set up the goodbye routine. So when I leave the house, well, when actually everyone leaves the house, it's going to set the alarm for us and also make sure the front door is locked and also shut the garage door and also turn off all of these light switches here. So if I go into locks, you can see that Thor shows up as a lock, and also if you go into switches, Thor shows up as a switch. So you can either have this switch and hit done. So when we leave the house, we want the switch to turn on, which is going to switch the alarm on. So we're going to go ahead and just hit save on that. And now if I click on the goodbye and run that, it says goodbye was completed. Some lights turned off here. You heard my front door lock. My garage door is also closing, and my alarm is setting. So basically when we leave, we drive out of the driveway. As we're going down the street, as soon as it knows that everyone is gone, it's going to execute all of these commands instantaneously without you doing anything. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and disarm the alarm, and let me turn on these lights again. So we have the foyer light, and we have the hall light. Okay, so now all our lights are turned back on, and now that's how it works in SmartThings, and that's how you set it up with an automation. You may also want to set it up when you come home, that it disarms the alarm instantaneously. So if you come in the garage entrance and don't come in the front entrance, then your alarm is still going to turn off. You don't have to come here, you don't have to type in any codes. It just instantaneously does it when your phone arrives home. And that is the best way. You never have to touch your alarm. Same thing when you go to bed at night. When you go to bed, just run the good night routine. It sets the alarm, locks the doors, turns off the lights. Everything happens instantaneously. Okay, so now we're going to get it set up with Alexa. Now she couldn't find any new devices because when I went into my app, it already says one lock discovered. And that's because when I set up the link between SmartThings and Alexa, I have all of my SmartThings devices discovered in Alexa. Okay, so we already have one lock discovered, so we're going to go ahead and hit view on that. And you can see that that new lock that's discovered is Thor. So we're going to go into that new device, and you can see that it is unlocked. So if we tap that, it should lock, and it should set the alarm. So let's see if that happens. Now this is going through 3 different clouds. So it's going to be going through Alexa to SmartThings to the Total Connect. And you can see that's armed here. Okay, so now the best way to control the alarm using your voice and Alexa is to go ahead at the bottom of Thor here. We're going to go ahead and create a routine. So to create your routine, it's basically you say something and it does something. So we're going to hit the plus sign in the upper right hand corner, and where it says when this happens, hit the plus sign, and I'm going to say go to our voice, and we're going to say Alexa arm Thor. Next. Obviously, when we say that, we want it to turn on the alarm. So we're going to go to Smart Home Control Device, go all the way to the bottom, and find Thor. Click Next, and that will turn on Thor. So we're going to hit Add that, and we're going to do one more thing just to make it a little more fun. And it's going to be Alexa says, and let's do a custom, and we're going to say okay, dropping the hammer now, and we're going to click next. And we're going to click next. So what we've set up is when I say Alexa arm Thor, it's going to turn on Thor, and it's going to say okay, dropping the hammer now, and it's going to respond from whatever device you speak to. So that's fine. You could have it respond to a specific one if you wanted to. I'm going to hit cancel there, and we're going to hit save. That is saved. It takes about 1 minute for it to be active, and it sounds like it's going to really be a big storm outside. Okay, now we can test the arm Thor. So all we have to do is say Alexa, arm Thor.
Okay, dropping the hammer now.
So she said her phrase, and it'll just take just a little bit of a delay to actually set the alarm.
Armed stay. Exit now.
And there you go. So now to set up the disarm alarm, it's a little more complicated, because when we go in here and when we say disarm Thor, oops, if I could spell, and we're going to go back down to Smart Home, and we're going to say control a device, and we go all the way down, we find Thor again, and we hit next. The only option on this screen is to turn it on. It does not give you the option to turn it off. So what we need to do is go back to SmartThings and go to a scene, and that's under the My Home tab,
Armed stay.
and go to a scene. I'll just disarm this real quick. Actually, let's leave this armed. I'm going to run this example. And we're going to hit Add Scene. And we're going to find Thor next. And we're going to choose device state as being off. We're going to change the name to be disarm disarm Thor. And we're going to go ahead and hit save on that. So now we have that in our routines. We just have to discover devices with Alexa. Discover devices.
Starting discovery. This will take a few moments. If you haven't already, please enable the Smart Home skill for your smart device from the Alexa app.
Okay, so now we can go and hit a new routine. And we're going to say, when I say disarm Thor, we want to add an action, and we're going to go to Smart Home, Control Scene, and we have our scene there, Disarm Thor. And we're going to turn on Disarm Thor, which will disarm the alarm, and hit Add. And we're going to also say, Alexa says, custom. So we're going to go and hit next, and hit next, and hit save. So it may take up to about 1 minute for this to work. Okay, and to run our routine, all we need to do is hit the play button on that routine. And I'm just going to say, from this device.
I have disarmed Thor. Have a great day.
Start. Ready to arm.
And it disarms it. So now you'll be able to disarm the alarm using your voice. You can also use the app, of course, and set up all the automations so you never have to touch your alarm again. So as you can see, it's a little involved, but it's not that complicated. All you need to do is some copying and some pasting to get it set up with your SmartThings. Once it's set up with SmartThings, it's controllable through Alexa, and after that, you never have to touch your alarm again. So I hope you found that video helpful. If you did, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.